ASE, ASE, is a suffix that is an enzyme. Lingual lipase is an enzyme in our mouth and in our stomach that breaks down fat. Lingual lipase. Then there's amylase. Amylase is an enzyme in our mouth and our stomach that breaks down sugar, breaks down the bonds that connect starch from one glucose to the next. It breaks it down. Lactase, you've heard of lactose? Lactase, ASE, is an enzyme that's in our gut that breaks the little connector that connects the glucose to the galactose. You've heard of the sugar lactose, right? Lactose is dairy sugar. It comes from dairy, from milk, cheese, and that comes from the milk of a mammal. When we drink milk or any dairy products, it's going in as lactose, which is galactose and glucose, and that lactase enzyme breaks the bond to separate the glucose from the galactose so it can process the two separately. Many human beings after a certain age lose that lactase enzyme, and that's why when they eat some dairy, it gives them stomach problems because it can't break down the galactose from the glucose. Our bodies, when we eat bread, when we eat rice, when we eat corn, when we eat anything that is a starch, any kind of grain, any kind of legume, the starch is glucose, 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 and they're connected with this little connector. And the amylase starch breaks the bonds, and now you've got all this sugar, all this glucose. The pancreas sees it, and it's just sugar. That's why we say when you're eating bread, you're eating sugar. When you're eating rice, you're eating sugar. You are. When you're eating potatoes, you're eating sugar. When you're eating beans, you're eating sugar. The amylase breaks the starch down into glucose, and you're eating sugar. Very rapidly in the mouth first, and then in the stomach. That's why we say don't eat carbohydrates. You're just eating sugar. Our body makes just the amount from the liver that we need. We don't need to add all these grains and all this starch. Now, the lingual lipase is another enzyme that when you're eating beef, pork, anything with fat, it's going to take that fat and it's going to use that fat. It's going to help break that fat down a little bit until it gets into your stomach and in your intestines, and then your bile takes care of the rest. We have cholesterol that makes our bile, that helps the fat get absorbed into our system to make healthy cholesterol and to transport those healthy fatty acids all over the body to do all the amazing jobs that healthy fat does for us. Our enzymes are something that we don't often talk about, and there's many, many, many other enzymes. Those are three main ones. The lactase enzyme for the milk dairy, the lingual lipase is the one that starts to break down the fat in our mouth, and then there's the amylase, which is the one that breaks down the starch into glucose, the sugars. You know, I'm not a doctor. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I did learn about the enzymes. And when you learn about these things, it helps you understand them. It helps you have like a grasp on them. And then when you're eating food, at least when I'm eating food, I look at things differently because I now have a little bit of an understanding. Okay, my enzymes are going to break this down or break that down, and my bile is going to take care of the rest. And mine, you know, if you understand the way your body works a little bit, do some research. We've got access to the internet. We have access to so much knowledge nowadays that years and years ago, before the internet, you know, you had to go to a library. You had to go to an encyclopedia. You had to force yourself to find the knowledge. It was very difficult, and people became doctors to learn all this stuff and pass tests and get certified. We now, I'm not saying I'm a doctor or anywhere near a doctor, but I now have access to all this knowledge. Knowledge is power. It helps me take control of my life. Take control of your life. Learn. Never stop learning. Watch YouTube videos. Buy books. Do some research. The bad stuff's out there too, so you have to use your gut instinct and decipher, you know, what's false information, what's true information, what's bullshit. What are they doing? They're trying to sell you something. What is the person's bias? Use your instincts and decide what it is. And don't just read things that you believe that's in your own bubble. Read dissenting points of view to what you believe. I know that's hard to do, but it's important to see the other people's perspectives. Disagree with it as you're reading it, if you want, but sometimes you'll learn something. Ladies and gentlemen, be educated. To be educated is to be a better person, and knowledge is the power to control your life and to make your life better and healthier. Learn about enzymes and which ones break different foods down. It's kind of cool. I wanted to pass that little nugget on to you, as simple as I could. Have a good day.